Have you ever been engulfed by a wave of anger, frustration, or sorrow, so intense that it feels like the very world is conspiring against you? Imagine for a moment a world where your emotions do not control you, but you control them. A world where no matter the storm outside, your inner calm remains unshaken. This is not fantasy, it is the wisdom of the Stoics, and it is a path that anyone, yes, you, can walk. The first step in controlling your emotions like a Stoic is understanding that the emotions themselves are not the enemy. They are a natural response to the world around us. But it is how we react to them that defines us. It is not the emotion, but the control over it that determines the course of our lives. Epictetus, the great Stoic philosopher, once said, "We are disturbed not by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens." This powerful statement speaks to a fundamental truth. External events do not determine how we feel. Our interpretations and reactions to those events are what shape our emotional responses. Imagine a situation where someone insults you. The immediate knee-jerk reaction might be anger, a desire to retaliate. But the Stoic response is different. A Stoic understands that the insult is not the cause of the anger. It is the judgment that we place on the insult that leads to our emotional turmoil. Therefore, if we wish to master our emotions, we must first master our thoughts. The world around us will never be entirely in our control, but our inner responses can and should be. As you embark on the path of Stoicism, remind yourself that emotions, in and of themselves, are not inherently good or bad. They are signals, just like pain is a signal to the body that something is wrong. But, just as we would not allow pain to control our actions without thought, we should not allow emotions to control our behavior. The true power lies not in feeling, but in how we choose to respond. If you wish to truly master your emotions, begin by mastering your mind. Understanding the Stoic mindset. To control your emotions, you must first understand the Stoic mindset. At its core, Stoicism teaches us to distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. According to the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, some things are up to us and some things are not. This simple yet profound distinction forms the bedrock of Stoic philosophy and is the key to understanding how to control emotions. Our emotions often arise from the belief that we can control everything in our lives, that the external world, the people around us, and the circumstances we face should align with our desires. But Stoicism teaches us that this is an illusion. We cannot control other people. We cannot control the weather. We cannot control the past or the future. The only thing we can control is how we choose to respond to the world. This insight is liberating. It means that when we encounter a challenge, an obstacle, or an emotional upheaval, we can stop and ask ourselves, is this within my control? And if it is not, how should I respond? For example, if you lose a job, you cannot change that fact, but you can control how you respond to it, whether you allow despair to overtake you or whether you view the situation as an opportunity for growth and resilience. The Stoic does not wallow in frustration or resentment. Instead, they confront adversity with a mindset of purpose and calmness, knowing that how they respond to the event is what truly matters. Understanding this mindset doesn't make us immune to hardship or emotional turmoil. It makes us resilient. When we accept that we cannot control everything, we stop trying to bend the world to our will and instead focus on what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions. This mental shift is the beginning of emotional mastery. The next time life challenges you, instead of reacting impulsively, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what is in my control? By doing so, you will begin to free yourself from the emotional chains that hold you captive. The power of reflection and detachment. The Stoics taught us that reflection and detachment are two essential tools in mastering our emotions. When emotions arise, whether it's anger, fear, or grief, it is easy to become swept up in the moment, reacting without thought. But the Stoic approach demands that we take a step back, pause, and reflect. It is in that moment of reflection that we reclaim our power over our emotions. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, often wrote about the importance of reflection. In his letters, he stressed the need to examine our reactions and responses to life's events, suggesting that by reflecting on our emotional responses, we can gain insight into their true nature. "No man is free who is not master of himself," he wrote. Reflection allows us to master ourselves. When we reflect, we create space between stimulus and response. This space gives us the power to choose our response rather than reacting impulsively. Detachment is equally important in this process. It does not mean disconnecting from the world or becoming apathetic. Rather, it means viewing events from a distance without allowing them to invade our inner peace. By detaching ourselves from the immediate pull of our emotions, we gain perspective. Imagine a storm raging at sea. If you are caught in the middle of the storm, you are at its mercy, tossed and turned by the waves. But if you are on the shore, observing the storm from a distance, you are unaffected by its power. Stoicism teaches us to be like the observer on the shore, not denying the storm, but not allowing it to destroy our peace. This detachment can be cultivated through regular practice. By developing the habit of reflection, taking a moment to pause and evaluate our emotional state, we can prevent ourselves from being swept away by irrational or destructive emotions. The more we practice detachment, the more we strengthen our ability to maintain inner calm, even in the face of the most turbulent emotions. This is the power of Stoicism, the ability to stand firm in the face of chaos, to observe our emotions without becoming consumed by them. Reframing and mastering self-control. The final step in mastering your emotions like a Stoic is learning the art of reframing and developing unwavering self-control. Reframing is the ability to see things differently, to shift our perspective on any situation. It is the Stoic skill of transforming adversity into opportunity. It is not enough to merely control our reactions. We must also control how we think about events. When faced with a challenge or emotional upheaval, we must ask ourselves, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, was a master of reframing. In his meditations, he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This powerful statement illustrates the Stoic belief that obstacles are not roadblocks, but opportunities to grow stronger. Instead of resisting or resenting challenges, we embrace them. We view them as tests of our character, moments to practice virtue and wisdom. Self-control is the foundation upon which the Stoic philosophy is built. Without self-control, all the wisdom and knowledge in the world is useless. It is through self-control that we gain the power to resist temptation, to overcome fear, and to maintain our composure in the most difficult circumstances. The Stoic does not react impulsively to external events. They remain calm, deliberate, and rational, using reason to guide their responses rather than allowing their emotions to dictate their actions. In developing self-control, we must be vigilant. It is not enough to practice Stoic principles occasionally. We must make them a part of our daily lives. Every moment is an opportunity to practice self-control, whether it is resisting the urge to lash out in anger or choosing not to give in to fear. We must be constantly aware of our emotional state and actively choose to respond in a way that reflects our highest values. This is the essence of Stoicism: to live with purpose, to cultivate virtue, and to remain unshaken in the face of life's trials.